The modern metropolis operates on straight lines and strict ledgers. It is a machine designed for pure efficiency, where bureaucracy dictates the schedule, and the daily commute feels like a slow crawl through a filing cabinet. Quiet despair creeps into the margins. It sits with street preachers reciting hymns into the mouth of dead payphones. It echoes in the sound of a man coughing in an adjacent apartment, or the hollow squeak of abandoned swing sets where no children play. Tommy and Xavier live detached from that concrete grid. Their apartment is a humid terrarium overflowing with half-grown plants, the hum of aquarium filters and melting lava lamps. They spend their days quoting Heidegger and Greek myths, existing in a private, green-stained twilight. One night, between a copy of Being in Time and a novelty fondue cookbook, a small glass egg on their bookshelf begins to pulse. The illogical gravity of their affection creates a hairline fracture in reality, and a small, shining entity climbs out of the shell. The homunculus of night emerges as a literal dream given hands. It wipes translucent goo from its almond eyes and slips out the window, setting out to initiate a targeted soft revolution against the mundane world. This chart shows the three-tiered strategy the homunculus uses to dismantle the city's rigid logic. The transformation begins at the base level, individual micro-horticultural interventions. The homunculus targets isolated nodes of misery. It spots a man weeping over a cracked cell phone at a bus stop and slips a pulsing seed into his shoe. By the time he boards the bus, the man bursts into a smile, having forgotten his debts. In the courtyard of a crumbling high-rise, it listens to a woman sobbing through thin walls. It buries a pale blue seed in the dart, causing a tree to shoot upward. The bark emits the scent of lost memories, and inside the building, the woman sits up, comforted. At a vacant lot, the creature touches a rusted metal swing set. The frame explodes with vines, twisting into living hammocks, while fully grown birds hatch directly from the air, singing songs no one taught them. This initial campaign of sabotage addresses the city's psychological rot. By applying targeted, empathetic cures to isolated residents, the homunculus begins the process of healing the metropolis, one person at a time. Once the individual roots are planted, the strategy scales up. The creature moves to the city's critical infrastructure, turning its attention to the machinery of capitalism. Standing before the Grand Bank Tower, the homunculus spits into its palm. The saliva glows green. It slaps the front doors, and the marble steps shiver before erupting with yellow orchids the size of dinner plates. Inside the building, the rigid hierarchy of the trading floor collapses. Stockbrokers abandon their margins and dividends, leaving their ledgers behind to join a spontaneous collective jazz performance. The sabotage spreads into the streets. It pours emerald and ultraviolet liquids into the city's traffic intersections. Lampposts twist into trees of wind chimes, and subway platforms carpet in moss. This second phase proves that systemic change can be achieved through total disruption. By injecting uncontrollable joy and aggressive rewilding into the city's foundations, the homunculus replaces cold logic with a living habitat. For the final tactical maneuver, the homunculus escalates the transformation to the atmospheric level. It begins rewriting the fundamental laws of physics. A shimmering plastic rain falls over the concrete, functioning as liquid neon. Upon contact, the droplets embroider the citizen's skin with temporary glowing botanical tattoos that bloom and wilt within seconds. The sky itself loses its standard composition, thickening into a glassy membrane of swirling aquamarine and violet. It becomes a vast living aquarium floating above the rooftops, drifting with seaweed clouds and massive koi. To police this new ecosystem, massive mechanical birds descend from the mist. These cyborg swans, built from titanium ribs and glowing circuitry, with painted murals across their bones, serve as the guardians of the flooded habitat. By altering gravity and replacing oxygen with breathable liquid, the homunculus ensures the concrete reality cannot return. The environment has been permanently overwritten by a fluid, inescapable ecosystem. The metropolis has fully matured into a living, emotional organism, an existence its creators call Lavasoft. Daily life adapts to the new terrain. Residents trade morning commutes for a surreal aquatic existence, wading through clear, warm lagoons that cover the old streets, while children ride on the backs of golden fish. This communal, music-filled utopia stands in direct opposition to the isolated bureaucracy of the old world. Inside the greenhouse of lost lovers, citizens dance surrounded by massive blooming orchids, no longer constrained by the rigid grid. The city's physical transformation represents a literal rewilding of human experience. It suggests that our physical surroundings are just a reflection of what we permit ourselves to feel for one another. This transformation proves that the ultimate soft revolution against a cold reality begins with the accidental, ordinary miracle of love. By planting seeds of impossible hope, Tommy and Xavier's magic demonstrates that we can midwife a kinder world into existence, simply by refusing to be careful with our hearts.